Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for coming today for this important event. I am a reluctant activist. Who really wants to be an activist? But when something you love is, thank you. When something you love is threatened, what choice do you have? So I live in Shutesbury. I discovered a couple of years ago that there's a plan to clear cut over 400 acres of contiguous forest in the town of Shutesbury, in the Amherst drinking watershed. And it was very alarming to me, and since then I've learned a ton about the role that trees play in protecting us from climate change and increasing our resilience to climate change. So I also want to just mention about the amazing resource of a contiguous forest and what that means, like a forest that's not broken up. Research has shown that Lyme's disease is due to forest fragmentation because of the way that it decreases biodiversity and changes the animal populations that control those ticks. So interesting. So here in Shutesbury we have this amazing contiguous forest that goes all the way into Wendell and down into Amherst and Pelham. And if you look from above at what's planned, it's like this pearl necklace of patches taken away of this forest for massive industrial solar. A solar company coming from outside of our country, a foreign solar company coming to put in massive solar to make electricity for their profit that's not even for the town of Shutesbury. That solar isn't even for us, it's for them. Yesterday I was out riding my horse in this beautiful forest, and I came upon a brand new massive clear cut that's been done just in the last month. Big roads cut out in this beautiful old forest that's just been in the last month. And this clear cut is for logging. And if you look from above, there's already fragmentation of this forest from logging. So the solar power plants that are supposedly going to be put in are in addition to this already fragmented forest. So you can tell that I, like other speakers, am very passionate about this and have a lot of emotions about it. This is a forest that I've loved and ridden my pony in for, over 30 years. And where this new clear cut is, there are some really special mushroom gathering places in there. The forest is not just this kind of neutral forest. There's little nooks and crannies where very special things grow. One thing I found out in my research about trees and their importance is that this it's like a tsunami, this machine of industrial solar. It's moving across Massachusetts. They want to clear cut 150,000 acres of forest in the state for solar. And it's not only Massachusetts, it's New Hampshire, it's Vermont, it's New York, and it's not only New England, it's everywhere. It's not only in the United States, it's in Canada. In fact, the company that wants to do it in Shutesbury, their main location is India and Japan. So this is a global issue. This little town that I live in with my special little mushroom patches, it's in the context of something that's massive. And it's all in the name of sort of green energy. And I just think, what got us into this trouble? What got us into this global warming, climate change crisis is this exact same kind of destruction. And so here, how can it be that more destruction is going to save us? More destruction in the name of technology is going to save us. I just want to finish by talking a bit about water and trees. As I mentioned that these sites in Shutesbury are in the Amherst watershed. And Shutesbury is actually a mountain. It's over 1,200 feet high, which is higher than Mount Toby or Mount Tom. And it's kind of all downhill. On one side it's downhill into the Quabbin, and on the other side it's downhill into mostly the Amherst drinking water watershed, into Atkins Reservoir, and into people's wells. Everybody in Shutesbury is on a well. And what I've learned about trees, especially trees on a mountain, is that as it rains, the trees suck up water and they hold soil in place. And that the sucking up of the water purifies the water, and it cleans the water of all kinds of toxins, and it controls the soil so that the water doesn't cause erosion going down the mountain. And how that's important, other than preventing flooding and erosion, which is important, is that by slowing the water down, the water has time to percolate into the aquifers. And the water in the aquifers is very, very pure. And that's where our wells go to, into these aquifers. It's our drinking water in Shutesbury. So when you cut down that much forest, in addition to the forest that's already been cut, we run the risk of our aquifers running dry, in addition to erosion and more polluted water. So you can see why I have become an activist, and I realize that this is the job that never ends. Like, once you sign up, you can't stop, because there's just so many interconnections. But I remind myself this is all because of love. It's all because this forest is beautiful and it needs help. And who's going to do that? We have to stand up for this and try to stop these catastrophic actions that are almost 100% really for profit under the guise of green energy. So thank you.